Lana Beniko. The name is enough to make Star Wars The Old Republic players either squeal with delight or groan in disgust. Since her introduction into the game in December of 2014 with the launch of the Shadow of Revan expansion, she's been everywhere. She has made an appearance in every expansion, and up until very recently, it seems she was in every scene too, so everybody has an opinion. For some, she's their PC's devoted space wife, or a trusted friend and ally, part of the Three Musketeers of SWTOR, along with Theron and their PC. But for those less favorably disposed to her, she's an overbearing and controlling executive assistant at best, and at worst, she's a creepy obsessive stalker who wants to keep the PC chained up in the basement on her desk somewhere, misery style, for the rest of their lives. But despite all the strong opinions and all the screen time that she has certainly had, what do we really know about her? Could she be harboring a deep, dark secret? Could there be more to her sometimes unreasonable devotion to the PC other than pragmatism and admiration? Could Lana Beniko be Darth Null? Now you may be asking yourself why anyone would say something so outrageous. Well, you see, it all started on the way to a flashpoint. There we were in the shuttle, minding our own business as we made our way to Elam, when out of the blue we get this exchange between Lana and Rivix.
That's just it. So little is known about you at present. It's a mystery, just like Darth Null.
Does that trouble you?
Not at all. I quite enjoy it. You should hear the stories people tell.
Should I?
You would find them flattering, I'm sure. I once heard that you only remain at your impressive master's side in order to disguise your full power. After all, who can say what you're truly capable of when you live in a shadow cast so long?
Who indeed?
Now you might be saying, who cares what Rivik says? He's an instigator. He's a man who loves to stir the pot to see what comes up, and that's a fair point. Add to that the fact the subject has never come up again, and all signs point to Rivik's just trying to amuse himself with some lively conversation. But, on the other hand, he's not wrong. She is a bit of a mystery, and in the case of some PCs, it can be hard to fathom why she sticks around. So it's not unreasonable to imagine she has an ulterior motive for doing so. And it's not like she denies it. Is that because it's so ridiculous she won't dignify it with a response? Or is it because there's a grain of truth to it? She certainly seems to be a Null fangirl. Could it be she's admiring her own handiwork? Let's take a look at what we know about Null and Lana so far, and see what conclusions we can draw. Let's look at Null first, since we know even less about her than we do about Lana. Malgus calls her the mother of the children of the Emperor. Not only did she invent the machinery that allowed the Emperor to create the children, she hunted down the victims and indoctrinated them too. We don't know when she did all these things, or when the Emperor disappeared her, but long enough ago for her temple on Elam to fall to ruin, and for her relic to be stored in the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine, a place the Jedi haven't used in over 300 years, not since Malak bombed it into dust in Knights of the Old Republic. So we can safely say she lived and worked over 300 years ago. Now, what do we know about Lana? Well, first, we know she is definitely not 300 years old. The devs have confirmed that Lana is around Theron's age. On top of that, we know she underwent her Sith trials on Korriban under the gentle tutelage of Overseer Harkin, the very same Overseer Harkin who tries to kill our PC Inquisitors multiple times during their trials. So Lana is at most in her mid-40s as of the current storyline. And that would be that. That would put the kibosh on any argument that Lana is anything more than she says if we weren't talking about Sith. But we are. And if there's one thing we know about Sith, it's body hopping is a thing. Tulak Hord knew how to do it. Zash dug up his ritual and tried to do it to our Inquisitor PCs. The Emperor has done it many times. And most recently, it's heavily implied that Valen hops into the body of one of Satille's students at the end of Echoes of Oblivion. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that a woman like Darth Null, who worked so closely with the Emperor, would also know how to do this. If she did know the technique, she could have jumped from body to body down through the centuries, living in obscurity to avoid the Emperor's notice until she came to Lana, which might explain how Lana was able to persuade both Imperial and Republic troops to lay down arms on Hoth during her early apprenticeship, a feat some might think beyond the capabilities of one so young, but not for someone with centuries of knowledge and experience like Darth Null. This could also help explain why she was so easily able to resist the Emperor's control on Ziost when almost everyone else around her failed to do so. including the entire group of the Sixth Line Jedi. Lana's aversion to titles would also make sense for Darth Nul. After all, she wouldn't want to make too much of a name for herself, lest she draw the attention of the Emperor, and he decide to destroy her once and for all. This fear of discovery could also, as Rivix implies on the way to Elam, explain her attachment to the PC. The PC garners all the attention, all the accolades and notoriety. Lana is seen as nothing more than the help, and nobody pays attention to the help. Thus, Lana is free to scheme, plot, or just exist without the fear of the Emperor's reprisal. But you might rightly be asking, if she's so keen to steer clear of the Emperor's notice, why does she spend so much time in close proximity to the PC while he's in their head? That seems like tempting fate, and demonstrates a recklessness uncharacteristic of Lana. Then again, she does frequently invite the player to do something dangerous, so perhaps she finds the possibility of discovery exciting. Or she's confident enough in her ability to stay hidden, she's not concerned. After all, he hasn't recognized her so far. Of course, that could be because she isn't Darth Nul. Because while taken all together, these points add up to a compelling argument as to why Lana could be Darth Nul. There are also perfectly rational alternative explanations for everything we've talked about. Lana could really just be a Nul fangirl. Nul had a lot of accomplishments, and it's not unreasonable to imagine Lana appreciates those. No ulterior motives or sinister backstory required. The soldiers on Hoth might have listened to Lana simply because she was making sense. On Ziost, while she was certainly one of a very small few people who were able to resist the Emperor, she was not the only one. The PC did, and Theron did. Heck, even Kovac manages it. Maybe she doesn't care about titles, because she doesn't want to deal with all the infighting and power plays necessary to move up the Sith food chain. She'd rather direct her energies toward accomplishing her goal in the most effective way possible. And constantly having to plot, scheme, and watch her back would certainly get in the way of that. We can see evidence of this in the short story The Final Trial. Instead of attacking and killing her fellow acolytes as they pursue the helm of Tulak Horde, she persuades them to work together to overcome the tomb's dangers and retrieve the artifact. Not because she cares so much about her fellow students, but because she believes working together is the most effective way to achieve her goal. We see her do this over and over again throughout the game, too. She teams up with Theron to take down the Revanites, not because Theron's a nice guy, but because it's more effective to work together than separately. It's why she works with Koth and Senya, it's why she forms the Alliance from people from all around the galaxy, and it's why she bothers to rescue the PC from Carbonite, regardless of whether or not she and the PC parted on friendly terms. And it's that same pragmatism that likely keeps her with the PC, even one she chronically disagrees with. And why not? She gets to be the power behind the throne, with none of that pesky responsibility or accountability. And as she's answerable only to the PC, she has no need to worry about clunky bureaucracies or conniving colleagues, leaving her to pursue her goals in peace and in whatever fashion she sees fit. Not a bad gig if you can get it. So why would she go anywhere else? Again, no secret motives or leaps of logic required. Just Lana being Lana, getting the job done in the most effective way possible. And in the end, I think that's the most likely explanation. Just Lana being Lana. And as for that brief exchange with Rivix on the way to Elam, the one that inspired this video in the first place, well, like I said, the subject has never been brought up again, and I suspect it's just Rivix being Rivix. But what do you think? Does Rivix know something we don't? Is Lana Darth Nul? Is it something else we don't know about yet? Or is it pure slander? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and like and subscribe for more stuff like this. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.